wheezing.
Yeah, you got me by. Yeah, I saw you up there holding on for your dinner.
2019, baby. I'm not going down like that.
What happened? Hey, I know what happened. I know what happened. What happened? But
he be waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I sing.
Yeah, he sung the whole song.
No, you go back and listen. I sing it.
No. Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened. Pat done lost some weight.
Yeah.
so his lungs ain't holding all that air.
Right.
No,
You see what I'm saying? Pat done lost some weight now.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what.
it is.
You wait till next week. No, what I didn't do, I didn't take that one big breath before I did it.
Okay. You gonna tell the secret now?
that's it.
Okay.
But Pat, I was giving you a compliment, man.
Yeah, he'll give you a compliment.
I was giving you a compliment, man.
Hey, I got you today.
Hey, but no,
Yeah,
being
yeah,
honest,
Booty Rush World.
hey, look, my weight loss slowed down a little bit between
Really?
Christmas and New Year's.
Oh,
Yeah, New
yeah.
Year.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody doing what they do.
you
Everybody
haven't
doing
did
what
it
they
2
do.
weeks.
I didn't go back up, but I didn't,
You haven't did it 2 weeks
I was
too
holding
now.
steady, right?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look at here. We got to say, hey, Macon County, how y'all
Yo,
doing
what's
tonight?
up, everybody?
Hey,
What's up,
glad
what's
to
up?
be back here at the studio at 100.7. Just glad to be here. So I keep saying, hey, Macon County, hey, Facebook Live, and everybody that joined us tonight. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a blessing to be here.
That's right.
You ain't
That's right.
kidding.
Definitely a blessing to be here.
Exactly right.
But
Oh, yeah.
before we get started, 100.7 FM at WUBZ with DJ Booty Rush at Hear Me TV, Tuskegee Virtual TV, Channel 181 in town, Channel 19 on campus with Pat Wallace, director, Kimberly Wright, and Jordan.
Holding it
Hey,
down.
hey. And as always,
Solo.
we got Miss Sheriff over there at CBTV.
CBTV.
Yo.
And always a pleasure for Miss Brunson to be here.
Okay.
And guess what? The first show
That's
of
it.
the new year.
The first one.
That's it.
The first show of the new year, man. And
January
it's-
3rd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, January the 3rd, first
That's
show
it.
of the new year, man. It's just a blessing to be here. And it's a pleasure, to be here.
Absolutely.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I really feel honored to be here in this position doing this and letting everybody know what's going on in Macon County and what's going on in the world today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's very, very important to do that.
Yeah.
And one good thing, you know, some people don't have television, some people don't look at the internet, some people don't do other things, but a lot of people have this radio
That's
station.
right.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
right.
And it is great.
It's
It is
great.
good. Just a very good form of communication for
Absolutely.
everybody.
Absolutely.
So hey, my hat off to Booty Rush and Pat Wallace here for doing this show, especially you, Pat, for
Hey,
doing
man.
this and producing and doing what you're doing here, and Jordan over there and Miss Bronson over there and Kimberly, Motor City, and everybody that has part in this show, man.
Right.
It's just a blessing for people here in Macon County.
Absolutely.
I want to
So,
thank all
appreciate
the
that.
viewers and the listeners
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
because the last few days I go out and I see a lot of people.
Yeah.
In fact, I have some people that listen on the radio that says, "Are you Jordan?"
Oh, really?
And then I said no, and they said, "You must be Pat Wallace."
Okay.
Yeah,
They hear
yeah,
Pat, you know.
yeah,
that-
Yeah,
yeah,
Pat
exactly.
could be either one of us.
Yeah,
right?
Pat
right.
could be. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pat could be.
So he
You
asked
know,
me if I was
that's
Jordan.
crazy. Hey, Jordan said, "Oh no, that's not me."
But no,
Jordan
but
said, "That's not
thanks
me."
to all the viewers and the listeners, because now I'm realizing that we are doing actual community
Right,
policing
right.
That's right.
using this media,
That's right.
using social media, radio, and television.
Hey,
We're actually reaching out to the people, and I love this Facebook Live now that they can respond
Right.
and react, and we can interact with
that's
them.
right.
So that's a
interact,
good thing.
Interact with the people.
That's really good.
And you just said a very good thing. We are community policing from
Yeah.
the radio station.
That's right.
Yeah.
You
That's
know, and that's a great thing.
Great
you just said a
thing.
good thing, Pat.
Great.
Yeah,
Good
well,
thing,
you know
yeah.
what? I was having this discussion. We were talking about this off air about the Black Consciousness Today show, which
Right,
I'm going
right.
to be hosting now.
Okay.
Wow.
But we had a discussion about how do we reach out? How do we solve some of these problems? And I was
Right,
making the
right.
point that this is what we do every week.
Right.
And
Right.
we have a digital platform that we all come together with people that are all over the country
That's
right.
to deal with the same problems and
That's
deal
right.
with the similar things.
Right, right.
And so now a lot of people are coming online doing things like this.
Right.
Right.
So really, the climate of consciousness on this planet is changing
It's
with
right.
this
Oh, yeah,
technology,
definitely,
with
Yes,
us
sir.
being able to interact like this.
Yes, sir.
And like the sheriff's family down there in Florida,
Yeah.
they can tap in every week,
That's right,
anytime
that's
they want
right.
to.
Mhm.
Right.
And they
Right.
can look at it, the rerun on Facebook anytime they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a really good thing.
Great
Yes,
thing.
You
yes,
know,
yes.
and I would suggest that more law enforcement agencies do this.
Yeah, yeah.
You
yeah.
know, because when you're
Yeah.
visible in the community and people see you on TV and they see that you're a human being.
That's right.
And you ain't a
Robot.
robot.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That
Yeah.
makes a
Yeah.
big difference.
Make a big difference.
When they
Make
see
a
us
big
on here
difference.
cracking jokes
Right.
and
Yeah.
you know making fun, they
Yeah.
know that we are real people.
We're real people and
That's
we're
right.
human.
Yeah.
You know, we're just human. We're down to earth.
Yep.
You know, and we are not, especially me, I'm not somebody that's untouchable.
Right.
Right.
You know, I'm part of this community.
That's right.
I want people to know I'm part of this
Right.
community.
Right.
You know, I want you to touch me and I want to touch you.
And
Yeah.
approachable.
You know,
and approachable.
and approachable.
And
And,
approachable.
and I
Right,
want to
right.
be approachable.
Exactly.
You know,
It
what
makes
I'm
a big
saying?
difference.
I'm part of this community, and I want everybody to know that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not too good for anybody.
Absolutely.
Right.
And, that's the way I want it.
Right.
You
Right.
know? But let's get on with the sheriff report first, and
Hey,
then,
okay,
and then
okay.
we'll
Let's go,
get
let's
go.
we'll get back to
Oh
this.
yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sheriff report December the 28th to January the 3rd, 2018. Between the dates of December 28th, January 3rd, the Macon County Sheriff Department in the last 7 days has received 112 volunteer fire transmissions, 1,542 landline calls, 402 E911 calls, 1,445 radio transmissions for a total of 3,501.
That's kind of
contact.
down. We starting the new year with a good
right.
number.
Yeah,
Starting
yeah.
off
We
right.
starting off right. You know, we're down to 3,501, which is great.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's really good. That's really
yeah, that's
good.
really good.
Because we were like 4,000 or something last week.
yeah,
exactly, yeah.
So we starting the new year off on a pretty good
We're
note.
starting off on a positive note.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we had a total of 11 complaints on 1228 I-85 southbound mile marker 34. We had a stolen vehicle. On 12/28/2018, we had an arrest for disorderly conduct. On 12/29/2018, on Old Grimmett Road, we had a stolen vehicle. On 12/30 Highway 81, harassing communications. On 12/30 Highway 81, we had harassment. On 12/30, we had an arrest for theft of property. Third. On January the 1st, we had a complaint. On Camp Plain Road. I guess they spelled that wrong. Auburn, that domestic violence, and you know we have some addresses that say Auburn, but they actually Macon
Macon
County.
County, right.
Okay.
So it was a domestic violence.
Oh boy.
On 11 I-85 mile marker 46, we had property damage. On 11 Bernard Street, we had property damage. On 11, we had arrest for child support. On 12 I-85 southbound rest area, we had a breaking and entering of a vehicle.
Oh boy.
On 12, we had arrest for a failure to appear. On 12 at Victoryland, we had a stolen vehicle. And on 12 Highway 199 and County Road 60 had located a stolen tag from Montgomery County.
Okay.
So we had a lot going on New
Yeah,
Year's
yeah.
Day.
New Year's
Okay.
Day.
You know, normally that's a day to relax, a day to kind of chill out and eat and stay with the family, but some people had other thoughts.
Well, no, you know the instigator will tell you folks was getting drunken.
Yeah, yeah,
They drink
yeah.
a lot on New Year's
Yeah,
Day.
yeah.
And you know, we tell people to avoid drinking and driving. But
Right,
people,
right, right.
Even folks in their own homes, they drink a little bit too much
Right.
and they
Right.
might get a little rowdy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, you know, we gotta put that in check.
We got to put that in check.
Go to sleep.
Yes.
But I heard
Yeah.
I heard the doorbell ring, and
Uh-oh.
I see one of our favorite people here, Miss
Uh-oh.
Good.
Oh,
And,
camera 4. There
y'all,
she
y'all
is.
know one thing about
Put her
Miss
on
Good.
camera 4.
Y'all know one thing about Miss Good. I know she can cook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know Miss Good can cook.
That's right.
So hopefully she brought us some cooked food here today.
Ooh, Lord, help
And
me.
I think I'm starting to smell it already.
To start the New Year's
You
off.
smell like food.
I smell something.
Yeah,
Got
I
my
smell
bones on
some.
the chill,
I
baby.
smell something. So I'm gonna try not to smile and laugh too hard
Yay.
because like I said, I know she can cook.
That's right.
Okay. See.
And
We got a little something.
hey,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what though? Before we talk to Miss Good here,
Mhm.
I want to finish something out right here.
Okay.
You know, besides those stats, I have some year stats.
Oh, okay.
So you can see
2018.
what
Wow.
2018, so
Great,
you can
great.
see what
Oh, yeah,
some of
that's
these
good, that's
numbers
good.
are, you know, from 2018.
Okay.
On for the landline calls, you know, as I
Wow.
said earlier, you know, landline calls this week were 402.
Okay.
Landline calls for the year was 71,592.
Wow. That's a lot.
71,592
71.
calls that
Yeah.
came into the sheriff department from landlines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
For E911 calls, there were 10,842 E911
But how much
calls.
do we had last week though?
Last week, there were, okay, hold on a minute.
Okay.
14, no, that's wrong here. I was wrong. It was 402. E911 calls,
42.
Okay.
and that was 1,542 landline calls
Okay.
Okay.
for the
got it.
week. Okay,
gotcha.
402 E911 calls.
Okay, that makes sense.
1,542.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
There we
Gotcha.
go, landline
Gotcha.
calls.
Gotcha.
Okay, so radio transmissions for the week were 1,445
Okay.
for radio transmissions.
Right.
And for the year, there was 60,980.
Gosh, yeah.
Wee.
Yeah, 60,000
Wow.
radio transmissions.
That's a lot.
Okay, volunteer fire department calls were for last week. There were 112 volunteer fire department calls, and for the year there was 7,283
Okay.
Okay.
for a total of 150,697 contacts.
Man, y'all been busy last year, huh?
150,000 contacts.
Yeah.
150,000.
Yeah, 150,000 contacts. So
That's a lot.
I just have to say those dispatchers are busy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's a great thing. I always tell them they do a great job. You know, all those dispatchers do a great job, and they have a very, very important job.
Very important.
And you look at that, they are the lifeline of the
Yep.
officers out in the field.
Absolutely.
And you have to have trained dispatchers because they solve a lot of problems
Right.
before we get them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They also are very big help to people that are in danger and in need.
Right. Right.
You know, one of the things that they do, and I like that they do, you know, you have a lot of females traveling, you have a lot of males traveling. A lot of people get stuck on the highway, a lot of people get lost.
Right.
And those dispatchers will talk to them until they get help.
That's right.
People in danger, they'll talk to them until they get help.
That's right.
People that are home, afraid, or somebody's
Right.
even trying to break in,
Yeah.
they talk to them until they get help.
Absolutely.
Try to keep them calm or whatever, even in medical conditions.
Right.
They
Right.
talk to them until they can get help, and they know the right people to call
Right.
to get things done. So
Right.
you have to give a shout out to the dispatchers, man. They have a very, very important
yeah.
job.
Very important.
And I
Very.
know our dispatchers do a very, very good
Right.
job.
Right. Right.
Right.
You know.
And not only are they the lifeline of the officers, they're the lifeline of the community.
Oh
in
yeah,
general.
definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And you know, and when you call 911 or when you call our sheriff department, somebody is always there.
Right.
You know, we never close down.
Right.
You know, somebody's always there to answer your call.
Right.
Gotcha.
You know, and that's great.
great.
That's
24/7.
really good.
Yeah. Oh,
24/7.
yeah.
24/7.
Oh, yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
Those are serious numbers there.
Yeah.
Those are serious
Yeah.
numbers,
Yeah.
man. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
those some serious numbers. And
Oh, yeah.
you know, you look at what we've done, you know, throughout this whole year, 2018. You know, every community has problems. Every community
Absolutely.
has crime.
That's right.
You know, and we do the best we can do by being proactive.
Right.
You know, we come out, we try to be visible everywhere.
Right.
You know, we try to ride these back roads, these dark roads. We try to get to everybody's community. Some, you know, some more than others.
Right.
You know, but I think overall we do a great job trying to do that.
Right.
You know, and not only me, we want all our officers approachable and able to talk to people and solve problems by talking to people. And we want people to be able to come up to the officers
Right.
and be comfortable talking to the officers because
Absolutely.
they are part of the community too.
Absolutely.
Right.
And,
Well, you know, Chief Frazier does a really incredible outreach for
Yeah.
the sheriff's department because
Yeah,
he has
he always-
a
he
show
always-
called the
yeah.
Revealer
Yeah,
Show
yeah,
that comes
he
on.
does a great job.
It comes on every day at 9:00 a.m. and 9:00
Right,
p.m.
right, right.
And every time the sheriff goes out into the community and does something, I
Right.
saw the one for Halloween where you
Oh,
go to
yeah.
all the kids and Frazier's right there documenting
Yeah,
that.
always.
And that's a part of that community policing
right,
also.
right.
Right.
You know, so we got this show, but we also have Frazier when there's special events.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff, you
Right.
know, makes a big difference
Make a
to the
big
community.
difference.
You know, and especially that one for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, didn't y'all have McGruff the Crime
Yeah,
Dog?
we did. We had McGruff.
You know, so that was pretty cool.
You know, that was cool, and it was interesting to see that a lot of young kids didn't know who McGruff was.
Right.
And that shows you how the time changes
Yeah.
That's
with
right.
these kids.
Yeah.
Now, if we'd had Paw Patrol, they would have known.
Yeah, no, yeah, Paw Patrol.
So that's something I
a-
might
Look, I don't
need to
even know
think
who that
about.
is.
You
I don't
know,
know what that is.
yeah,
That's the new
yeah,
one.
that's
Yeah,
the new
okay,
one.
okay.
If we had Paw Patrol, they would know.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But McGruff,
okay.
a lot of them didn't know,
Yeah.
and we had to introduce them
Yeah.
to
Okay.
to
Back in the
McGruff.
90s.
Yeah, that was the 90s.
But I'm gonna go back and say hello to the people here on Facebook Live, read some names and some comments here. And we know Booty Rush was the first one to join us tonight on Facebook Live. Hey,
He greedy.
my sister-in-law Kimberly Brown out there. Hey Kim, how you doing? I said hey to Kimberly, my sister-in-law. Kimberly Motor City, right? She's Motor City Kitty.
Playing
you know,
hooky.
she's out there doing something, playing hooky tonight. Kimberly Brown, my sister-in-law, said, hey guys, Patrick Wallace joins us tonight. Kimberly Motor City Kitty said, hey you guys, missing you all. Brenda Brown is watching. Kiana Provo is watching. I said hey to Kiana. I told her and her husband still on their honeymoon, which is great.
That's right.
You know, love it, man. They always together, man, and that is great, man.
Right.
And my brother Mike Provo doing a great job for me. Miss Tarver says Happy New Year. Brenda Brown says good evening. Brenda Brown says Happy New Year to you too. And same to you, Brenda Brown, who's a great supporter of the show here. Always watching. Always a pleasure to see her out in the community.
Absolutely.
Miss Crenshaw is watching.
Crenshaw.
wow.
Hey, Miss Crenshaw, how you doing?
She said she watched the show from Houston.
Yeah, she said she watched the show from Houston.
Cool.
And how you doing? And my daughter T Bronson is watching. Hey T, how you doing? I know Big Man and the rest of the kids at the house.
Yeah.
Little Jeremy, they call him Big Man.
Big man.
Ooh, boy. You talking about, is it terrible twos or terrible threes?
Terrible too.
Boy, he had them all.
He's
Terrible threes.
full of energy.
Hey, full of energy. T says, hey, Dad. T says, hey, Mom. And Ms. Crenshaw says, good evening, gentlemen. I enjoyed last week's show from Houston, and that's great.
Right.
And T says she see you, woman. And she said, hey to her mom, and she waved. And Ms. Crenshaw says, Happy New Year. Brenda Brown said, I missed you last week, but she's glad we're back, and that's great. My buddy Victor Clark. Hey, Vic, how you doing?
What's up?
Vic in the dollar store over there. Vic, man, Vic a good guy.
He got an anniversary coming up too. They got
Does he?
36th anniversary.
What?
Yeah, this month.
Oh, that's
Wow.
good,
15th.
man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
good. Vic,
Logan Hall going
Vic
down.
a great guy, man. And Angela Hamilton is watching. She says, Happy New Year and love you all. And I appreciate that, Angie. She's Angie always doing a great job, always out in the community.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what?
Angie.
Always letting people know what's going on.
Yeah.
I tell you what, she's been on fire the last couple of weeks.
That's my
so.
clanmate.
And Angela's been on
yes,
fire.
That's
Oh,
my
yeah.
clanmate, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
But we got a visitor in here in the studio tonight, Miss Good. How you doing, Miss Good?
Hey.
We're doing just great. You know, I saw Miss Good a little while ago last week over in Walmart.
Right.
And she said she was coming to see us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have to talk about bringing us no gumbo. She said she was going to bring us something good.
Hey.
And Miss Good is out. She has her catering service, and she does a great job.
Great job. Great
And,
job.
you know, at all events, she's always cooking.
Good
You know
times.
what?
Right.
Good times.
She can cook, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know that.
Oh,
She
yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We big guys. We know
Yeah,
about that.
we know
don't we?
it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I bet y'all always tasting, too, ain't you?
Tasting, baby.
Always tasting.
That's my other job.
Always tasting. So we're glad she's here tonight. And I don't want to miss anybody here on Facebook Live. We got Freddie Cunningham just joined. Hey, Freddie.
Okay.
Freddie taking out of his busy hunting schedule to join us here on Facebook Live. So that's a great thing.
Great thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great thing. But you know, tonight I wanted to talk about some things in the community, you know, as far as law enforcement.
Okay.
Talk about some of the things that we do and let y'all tell me some of the things that we do. What do you see about the sheriff department?
Right.
And what do you see, you know, if you got some good things, some bad things, you know, please tell me.
Right.
Because there's always room for improvement. And I'm not too stubborn to listen to people and what they think about what we're doing at the department.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But one thing I know, you know, we try to be diligent. Like I said, we try to be proactive of what's going on in the community. And we try to always be seen, and we try to always be here for everybody.
Right. Right.
And, you know I am the sheriff, and I know that, you know, county jurisdiction, but we do help out in the city.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can help out, and we will help out more in the city, but we try to, you know, we have a police chief, and we have city police.
Right.
So we kind of do a little bit of everything.
Right. Right.
But, you know, we don't want to really step on their toes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if need be, we will be. And we have been here a lot in the city,
Yeah.
Right.
doing
Right.
things in the city. And we're going to continue to do that for you because our job is to keep everybody safe, not only the community, but the inner city too.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
if you need us, please give us a call.
Okay, great.
You know, and we'll be here. You know, we should be one law enforcement agency doing what we do
Right.
for the people in this county and the people in this community.
That's right.
And that's talking about Shorter, which they do a great job at Shorter. We talking about Notasulga. We talking about Tuskegee University. We talking about Franklin.
Right.
You know, we talking about the city of Tuskegee. We talking about everybody in this community.
Right.
We should be one unit. We should be working together for one purpose.
That's right. That's right.
And that's to deal with everybody in this county and this community.
Absolutely.
So that's what law enforcement is about, and that's what it should be about. And everybody should be approachable. Everybody shouldn't, you know, think that they're above what we do here in the community. You know, our success is going to come from you.
Right.
You know, any law enforcement officer, any law enforcement agency would be crazy to think that they can do this without the community.
That's right.
It ain't happening.
That's not gonna happen.
It's not going to
Not
happen.
gonna happen.
Well, I'm going
You
to take
know.
the chance to drive home that point. We touched on this a little bit earlier.
Right.
But the whole notion of community policing is
Yeah.
something especially in a small community like this,
Right.
we can be very effective at it.
Very
Right,
effective.
right.
You know,
right,
it's
yeah.
a lot different in the larger cities. I
Right.
lived in the large cities,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit more challenging because
Yeah.
there's so many more officers.
Right.
And here, especially with television and people being able to see them on
Right.
Facebook Live and television and on the Revealer Show, they see these officers and they see the same officers, the
Right.
same
Right.
deputies.
Right.
So they feel like they could be more approachable. When
Right.
you see the same people over and over again,
Right.
and you know that you've seen them on TV and they seem nice on television,
Right.
that makes a big difference when you're
Right.
out there and you're in some kind of crisis,
Right.
and you know you need them, and then you don't have to worry about fearing them because
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
because of community policing, you already have kind of a connection of familiarity,
Right,
and that
right.
I think makes the biggest difference from this county from any of the other counties.
Right,
Yes,
right.
yes,
That I
yes.
don't know any other county that the law enforcement is this deep into the community
Right,
policing.
right, right.
And,
You
and
know?
it's kind of scary a lot of people though, man, because you got to think about a lot of people when I go approach you as an officer,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like some kind of way, man, he could take me to jail.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why they don't really
Yeah.
want to come around you.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? You know, you could be doing something later. You know, not now, but you could have been doing something a little later. But
Right.
like, man, oh man, he can take me to jail, man. I'm scared. I can't go and tell
Well-
you nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Well,
it
I-
feels like that sometimes.
Speaking from my experience, now see,
You know?
I can safely say this, that I was one of those guys.
Yeah.
When I was younger,
Right.
like in my 20s and stuff,
Right.
I see law enforcement,
You
I'm
freeze up.
clenching up, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just almost a natural instinct.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's not a reflection on any specific officer. And this is just my experience.
Right.
It comes from me listening to my grandparents
Mm-hmm.
and my parents talking about the civil rights movement,
Right.
and people getting their butts kicked.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and they're doing the right thing, but they're getting their butts kicked.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, when I see somebody with a badge and a gun, I'm like, okay,
Freeze up. Yeah.
that's you know. So that's why I think that doing this is so very important.
right. Right.
Well,
So
I'm
we
gonna say
do
one
have a
thing
difference.
about that though, Pat. You know, I'm gonna say one thing about that, and it works two ways.
Yeah.
But remember, police officers, law enforcement was put here for a specific reason.
Yes.
Right.
So we have to have, some type of fear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We have to be a person that stands up.
Right.
Yeah.
So we want you to not to fear us, but to more respect
Yeah.
the law enforcement part of it.
Right. Right.
And if we can keep that edge, it's good.
It's good.
Right.
Because if you respect the law enforcement and you kind of fear what they can do to you,
Right.
don't think I'm saying it the wrong way. I'm just saying you know that if you do something wrong, you can get in trouble.
That's right.
Right.
And that law enforcement officer can take me to jail for doing something wrong.
Right, right.
But on the same token, that law enforcement officer is here to help me.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
He's here to make sure I'm safe.
Right.
He's here to make sure nobody hurts me or my property.
Right.
And that law enforcement officer is part of the community. He
Right.
lives right down the street.
Right.
And I know I can go knock on his door for help.
Right.
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 You know
but
what
see,
I'm
but that's
saying?
how I feel in Macon County.
Right.
Okay.
But when I was living in Lee County, I did not feel like that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it doesn't matter what I do, because there was, in fact, there were a couple of officers that had just kind of singled me out.
Right.
I was, my friend and I were the first two black people in Auburn to have dreadlocks.
Right.
Wow.
They didn't know what that was, right?
Absolutely.
So they saw it as something bad, and any opportunity they could, they would harass us.
Right.
And most of the time, we weren't doing anything really
Right,
bad.
right.
I got to say, this is the instigator going to say this now.
The instigator. Y'all.
I went to Auburn University, and I came out in 1990. I graduated in 1990. And growing up in Tuskegee, I did not experience racism. I did not experience everybody, the smart kids, the not so smart, rich, poor, everybody was black.
Right.
So I didn't experience racism, not until I went to Auburn and really understood I'm just doing what the white kids are doing, and the cops will come and get me.
Right.
Right? I'm just doing what.
Wow.
Listen,
Yeah.
there's a street up there called Frat Row.
Uh-huh.
And this is why I have to go into this, because I'm on Frat Row. It's a weekend, the game was over. It's like 5,000 kids in the middle of the street on Frat Row.
Right. Right.
They're carrying open containers. They've got 12 packs. I've got one little red cup, and the cops single my butt out, and they come and get me.
Wow.
Now, because I hadn't had that experience before, of course, I'm young, I'm belligerent,
Yeah.
and I'm talking crap.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And of course, they're gonna take me to jail.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right? Of course, it gets dismissed, but it was a very important lesson to me.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That was one of the first times that I realized, coming from Tuskegee, that the world outside of this county
Yeah.
is a totally different
Sure
thing.
is.
And
Wow.
the experience with law enforcement is totally different.
Wow.
A lot of people got to know that though.
And look, I interviewed you a couple of years ago, and I always use this as example. Philando Castile, the young man was doing everything he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Told the officer he had a firearm that was legal,
Right.
and still got killed in front of his girlfriend and
Yeah.
his child.
Yeah.
So there are situations where no matter what you do, you could get taken out.
Right.
And so when I leave this community, I'm on red alert.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm serious. My tags, all my stuff is legit. But if I get pulled over, it's, to me, I feel like it's a toss up. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Well, you know that's sad.
It's very sad
in the world today.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
You know, we think we've made a lot of, a big stride toward equality. You know, but sometimes it's not that way.
No.
And I'll be the first to tell you that. But what I try to preach to my guys is you treat everybody right.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, don't jump to conclusions. And I have to knock on wood and say we hadn't had any incidents like that, and we want
Right.
to keep it that way.
Right.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Right.
You know, and one great thing about me giving you the benefit of the doubt, I know most of the people here.
Right.
Right.
You know, I was the truant officer in over security for 23 years.
Right.
Right.
So I grew up with these kids.
Right.
And now the kids that went to school are now parents and grandparents.
Absolutely.
And they know what type of person I am. They know what I teach to my officers.
Right. Right.
You know, we want to treat everybody right, and we want to know everybody. And you give respect to get respect.
That's right.
That's
right.
it.
And that's something that you teach.
That's right.
You got to give respect to get respect.
Absolutely.
And we just because we are in authority don't mean you treat people any different.
That's right.
You know what
There
I'm
you go.
saying?
That's right.
Everybody
There you go.
deserves
Right.
to be treated the right way.
That's
Even
right.
I don't care if you in jail. I don't care if you committed a crime. You still deserve to be treated right.
That's right.
And that's
Right.
the way we try to handle things, and that's the way I try to teach all my officers. And we have some very good guys, some very good officers, and that's one thing about the officers living here in Tuskegee. You know, they know the family.
Right.
And I'm not saying nothing bad about the guys that have to come in and work. Definitely
Right.
not saying anything bad about them, but there is advantage to living in Tuskegee and being from Tuskegee. There is
Right.
advantage.
Exactly.
Big advantage.
You know, and then the guys that are not from here, and I have some officers that are not from Tuskegee, but guess what I tell them? Go get in the car and ride.
Right.
Stop the people's house. Go sit on the porch with them.
That's right.
Let them know who
Get
you
to know
are.
folks. Right.
You get to know folks.
Get to know
That's
them.
it.
And that's your first job.
That's right.
You know, get in your car and ride. And all my officers that are not from here can tell you, I tell them that. Get in there and ride.
Get in there and ride,
You know,
man.
stop to these houses, stop to these stores, introduce yourself.
Right.
And be a permanent fixture on them seeing you
That's
every day
right.
or every time you come to work.
That's right.
We don't want just going out there to arrest people to be the only contact we have with people.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
just not good.
That's right.
That's just
That's
not
right.
right, and that's just not being part of the
Right.
community.
That's right.
And I think by doing those things, you have a better relationship with the people
Yeah.
here in the community.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying again, don't think I'm saying something wrong about not being from here.
Yeah.
But if you aren't from here, you need to meet. You need to
Yes.
talk to the people,
right.
familiarize
Exactly.
yourself
Right.
with the people in the community.
Absolutely.
And once
Yes.
you can get their trust, and then they know that you're here for them, and you're just not coming here to grab a paycheck,
Right.
it's a lot better
That's
right.
for you, and it's a lot better for your department
Yeah.
and the people that work for you.
And it's
Absolutely.
a
just a great
valuable,
thing.
valuable
Very
part,
valuable
component
part.
of the community policing too.
Very
valuable part of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
And
we're
knowing
gonna,
people.
we gonna come back after these messages here. We finna do the drop, and we'll be right back.
There you
Hey,
go.
hey.
Yep.
Hey,
Hey,
Tuskegee,
Facebook Live.
Make sure you watch the Macon County Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Andre Brunson every day at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Tuskegee Virtual TV, Channel 181 in town, and Channel 19 on the TU campus, hosted by DJ Booty Rush. Be sure to check out our live stream every Thursday evening on YouTube at Tuskegee Virtual. We're keeping Tuskegee in the know.
And you know this. And you know
Just come say something.
All right, y'all, we're back.
Hey.
We're back. We're back live on the Sheriff Report.
Yeah.
On our break,
Yeah.
man, we was talking about this gumbo.
Oh my goodness, we getting ready to chow down, baby.
Hey, get ready to chat down. But listen, we're going to introduce Miss Good here. And she was listening to our conversation. She want to interact on some stuff.
Okay, let's
here.
give her a big round of
Give
applause.
her a big
Yeah.
round
Let's
of
go.
applause.
We got Miss Good
Hey,
in the
hey, Miss
building, y'all.
Good. How you doing, Miss Good?
I'm doing great, and Happy New Year's to everybody, and God bless everybody, and hopefully everybody made it into 2019.
Yeah,
you know, in a safe place.
Okay. Yeah,
All
you're
right. And you guys were talking about law enforcement and that.
Okay.
Last night I stayed up until 3:00 in the morning, and I was watching The Green Mile.
The Green Mile.
Yeah,
Big, big,
Remember
right,
that
right,
movie?
Yeah.
right.
Wow. Yeah.
Woo, that was a good movie.
it was a
I was
good movie.
like, you know, and I wanted to cry because it does
At the end, yeah.
The black, you know, the black guy,
Right,
the
right.
black guy that was
right.
in there, right?
Right.
You know, he kept on saying all along that because of who he was
Right.
as a black man, no matter what, even back then,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, and then he took the fall
Right.
for something that he didn't even do,
Absolutely.
just to keep the peace.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep,
You
just
know,
keep the
and
peace.
that I think Black history, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You know, black people, and you know, to be honest with you, all we're talking about, we haven't come that far. I mean, we've come far, but we really haven't come that far.
Right.
Right.
And it's all within ourselves.
Right.
Right.
So we have to know that within ourselves that we can do better.
Right.
Okay, that
Yep.
we have to have confidence. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to trust each other.
Right.
We have to back each other up.
That's right. Number
You
one.
know,
Number one
Trust.
rule.
Trust.
Yeah.
You got rid of-
Trust.
Yeah, bad
you know,
trust. problem.
trust.
There's a lot.
That's the
Trust is
powerful
hard
thing.
for us.
It really is. And no, here's the thing. A wise person said to me, it takes a long time to build trust, but it can take an instant to destroy
That's
it.
right. That's right.
You know,
That's
it's,
right.
it's really,
That's right.
it's really
It's kind of
powerful.
like it, nobody remembers what good you did. They always remember what
Yeah,
what bad
right,
you did.
Right. Right.
And it's the same thing. But that movie was just so, you know, you're talking about Lee County. You know,
Right.
what's his name? The one that ended up, you know, ended up in the crazy ward at the end. I was
Oh,
so happy
boy.
about
Yeah.
that, you know, in the movie.
Yeah.
One of the officers, you know
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying? There's
Right.
always one like
One,
that
yeah,
everywhere.
always.
And then you had the dirty cop, but he was the dirty one, so he got what goes around comes around.
That's right.
You know, he didn't put the sponge in the water and fried that guy.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean that movie was really
Deep.
It's a deep movie.
deep.
And
But you know,
there was a lot of
but look,
lessons
it
to
plays to what we've been through as a people when law enforcement was used as a tool against us. You know, and so we're still in the recovery from that.
Right. Right.
You know, it was just in my lifetime that we had the first black sheriff, first black mayor. You know what I mean? So things started changing around the time that I was a little kid.
Right.
And so we're still in recovery. You know, I went through a lot of that stuff, like I said, in Auburn.
Right.
So it's still something that is heavy in my mind about when I go to the other communities where I don't know if they have real good community policing like we do here.
Yeah.
So it is something to think about when you look at how the interaction between black people and law enforcement has changed over these years. And that's why I give hats off to Sheriff Brunson for actually doing real community policing. Like he said, he knows people in the community. He worked with the school system for a long time. So these are the things that make the biggest difference,
Right.
you know, for
Right.
all of us.
Also, the lesson in that movie also was about leadership. You saw
Right.
the
Right.
guy that was in charge. This is
Okay.
like Sheriff Brunson, about how he, you know, at one point they were all trying to cover for
Right,
each other.
right, right.
But at the end, when they had to execute the black guy, they were all crying.
Right,
People
right.
didn't understand that. You know, they understood the guy's his gifts, all
Right.
of his gifts,
Right.
all of his skills that he had. You know, they had the higher being. Of course, they had the Lord. They believed in miracles. You know, it still has to do about church,
Right.
You know, community in that they believed in a higher being in that. And so this is what we have to do. Again, it has to do with trust. I'm gonna tell you what. One thing about Macon County Sheriff, everywhere I go, I'm gonna tell you they be showing up and showing out. I mean, we got the baddest equipment. I have to look
give a
over
round
there
of
and I
applause.
see. Sheriff Brunson, just like Patrick, they're Leo the Lion, so
Leo
they're the
the
king of the
Lion.
jungles. You
King of
know,
the jungle.
they're the kings of the jungle. So you know they got to be the best of the best. And
Right.
Courtney's of course the first lady on that, right? She gets all the benefits from that, right? But and then you, no problem.
But you know, one thing.
Get
that
the mic.
Get the mic.
You know, one thing about. Oh, I don't think it's on.
Yeah, it's on.
You just don't have
can't
headphones.
hear
Oh,
it.
wow,
You gotta
that's
hear
different,
both.
ain't
Yeah,
it?
it's
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Big
Wow.
difference.
Oh, we only got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
One thing about that is, you know, you want to be proactive.
Yeah.
Having your vehicles, having the stuff in place, and having everything you need is very important.
Right.
You know, we're in a small community. I'm not going to say we're a small community because we got 600 and something square miles to cover
Absolutely.
in this county. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
You know
That's
what
a
I'm
lot.
saying? But you look at Montgomery County over there, You know, if something was to happen here, we have to wait 35, 45 minutes for somebody to even get here traveling.
That's right.
By the time you notify them, you know, to get here is that long.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, by the time Lee County gets here, it's 30 minutes.
Right.
Right.
We have to hold off everybody.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have to hold our own until we can get help if we had something to happen.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we gonna be prepared. We can't take our citizens' lives or the people in this community lives for granted.
That's right.
I want to have the best for everybody.
That's right.
You know, medical, you know, police wise, everything,
Right.
security wise, we need to be able to sustain ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You know, and I don't know if people understand that. They say, well, why he spent money on this vehicle? Why he bought a SWAT vehicle? What we need that for?
Right.
We got bank robbers. We got robbers.
That's right.
Yep.
You know, we got everything everybody got.
That's right.
Yep, that's
You
it.
know, and we are vulnerable to anything that happens.
That's right.
And that's even crazy for some people to think.
Yeah.
Why did we buy this? Why do we have that? Man, we got people in the community. We got citizens.
That's right.
We got people that's going to need help.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And we're going
Right.
to be prepared for the people here.
Yeah.
And that's why we do the things we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And being proactive and having this stuff is just a great thing.
Great thing.
You know what? And we're going to get more. And we're going to
Yeah.
get better.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to protect our community
We
better.
got to.
That's
We
it.
got to.
And if I can buy a tank, guess what? I'm going to have a tank.
That's right.
Because
Yeah.
we might have to use
You
it.
might have to use it.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, you're
Can I-
absolutely right.
You know, and I want to just finally, you know, end this by saying that it's important that we have this confidence, trust in our law enforcement, because it also helps community development, bringing jobs, bringing different business here. Because if they know that we don't have a safe community to live in, guess what? They're not going to be
coming.
here.
They're not
They're
coming.
not
coming.
You're
Right.
exactly
So
right.
that's important.
You get around for all that.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's
So
Right.
finish, you know you can keep talking. I say, that's right.
It's a big difference with
Yeah, I say, you know, she really needs to keep talking because she's
Yeah.
telling the truth.
Right. She telling the truth.
You know, people look at law enforcement, look at how we can protect them and their families when they bring these when they spend all this money in this
Yeah.
community by building these buildings and
Right.
bringing their equipment here. They want to know what kind of law enforcement
Right.
you have,
Absolutely.
and that's very, very, very important.
Very important.
You know,
Right.
and we're gonna be up to par. We're gonna have what we
Yeah.
need, and we're gonna take care of this community.
Yeah.
And on that same note, and I always say, hey, we're gonna do our part, but you need to do your part
part.
too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we keep talking about being workforce ready, and that gives me an opportunity to say that. Get
Yeah.
yourself prepared for these
Yep.
jobs.
Right.
Get yourself prepared to help this community. You know, give your New Year resolution like we're supposed to talk about today, but look like we're going to run out of time. You know, New Year resolution, if you didn't finish school, go back to school.
Right.
If you want this big job, go to school and learn and get your degree on what you need to get these big jobs.
All right.
To get these good paying jobs, you got to be ready.
Ready.
And you
know
know,
what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something about workforce ready. Every time you say that, I always have this thing in the back of my head.
Right.
The more workforce ready you are, the less likely you'll have a bad police interaction too.
That's true.
Think about
That's
that.
true.
Right, right,
You
right.
think about that.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
You're
that's
right.
some real stuff.
That's some real
Yeah,
stuff.
that's some real stuff.
That's
Yeah.
some real stuff. Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
one thing I want to say, you know, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, prepare our kids to go into these other communities.
Yes.
Because like I like Pat said, you know, living up in Auburn or living in Montgomery or living different places, you know, you got to go there and you got to know what you can do and what
Yep.
you can't do.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
And
right.
and you might not agree with their law enforcement or what they're doing,
But that's
but
what
you
they
need
got.
that's what they got.
Yep.
what they got.
And,
Yep.
and you got to live to fight another day.
That's
Right.
it.
Don't
right.
stand there and get yourself in so much trouble you can't get out of.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
come on
right.
back to Macon County and let us
Yeah,
deal with it. Let your
right.
parents deal with
Right,
it. Let your,
right.
you know, the people who can deal
Deal
with
with
it,
it,
deal
yeah.
with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't stand there and argue. Don't
Right.
stand there and pull a gun. Don't stand there and fight and think you're going to beat these law enforcement
Right,
officers.
right, right.
Because it ain't no way you
It's
can
never
win.
gonna happen,
It's
right.
never going to happen.
Yeah.
So we need to educate our young kids on how to act
Right.
when they go places, and things might go wrong.
Yeah.
Law enforcement might approach you the wrong
Right,
way,
right.
but you still have to keep your calm
Yeah.
and know what you can do. And like
That's
I
it.
say, live to fight another
right.
day.
There you go.
Because that's a battle that you can't win.
Can't win.
You can't win.
Hey, before we run out of time, see, you got on the conversation with us. Let's take a minute about the food, right? And talk about good time for a moment,
Yeah,
right?
yes,
and then
yes.
you can give your shout outs too.
Yeah, you can get
All
a
right.
shout out. Hey, but let me say this before we say that. I met a young lady I ate at Blue Seas today.
Oh, wow,
And
yeah.
the young lady told me she left a gift here of fruit and all of that stuff. And she asked me, where did I get my fruit? And I told her no.
Booty Rush.
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get it, bro.
We got to ask Booty Rush. We got to ask
Sylvester, yeah.
Yeah, we got to ask
Uh-oh.
her.
Came on
She said she
Sylvester
left us a gift.
Now she did call and said she was going to bring one, but I
Okay.
didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Somebody
Well,
got
look,
it.
I got to tell that young lady that I
Okay.
met in the Blue Seas today that thank you.
Okay, I didn't get
Beautiful
it. I
young
didn't get it
lady.
either.
She talked about the show and she talked about her gift that she
Okay.
left, and she said
Got
we
it.
missed a treat
Yeah.
Okay.
and we didn't get it.
Okay.
So I got to tell Sylvester, I ain't gonna be mad this time. But next
Sylvester ate it
one,
all up.
He ate it.
Sylvester ate it all up.
Sylvester ate it all
Yeah,
up.
Sylvester
Okay.
got put on
Okay.
Sylvester.
All right.
I
Got
did
it.
not see
You
it.
didn't see it.
I ain't seen it
If I
either.
had
See
saw
it.
it, I would have told you. If I would have ate it all the way up. I just would have told you. I said, I'll buy you a
All
piece
right.
of something.
Hey, and Facebook Live, we hadn't forgotten you over here on Facebook Live, and community, we hadn't forgot y'all, but we getting through this conversation, very interesting conversation.
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very good to have Miss Good on here, so we're
Right.
going to let her talk
Yeah,
again.
tell us all about it. Tell us about it.
So what
Tell
you
you
got in
about
that
what?
gumbo? That
Okay,
gumbo.
so tell us first of all, what kind of gumbo did you bring?
Well, one thing about me that I've learned in the past 5 years that I've been, trying to cater and get my catering business and that going, is that I try to cook healthy.
Okay.
And keep everybody, be considerate of different people's
Right.
allergies,
Right,
and
right,
different
right.
things of, cleanliness. I don't have pets in my house, inside my
Right,
house,
right.
for example. People are really funny, and you have to be careful nowadays what you're eating.
Right.
Okay.
But today I brought some chicken and just sausage.
Okay.
Okay, because I wasn't sure that were there any seafood allergies
Right, right,
going
right.
on. And then again, whatever y'all need. I just kind of took the place of me doing the
Yeah.
Mardi Gras Tuskegee
Right,
style.
right, right.
Remember we had that going, and I'm thinking about this year maybe bringing it back on a different level in a
Right.
different
Right.
way or whatever. Maybe incorporate some African
Well, listen,
type of
put it like this.
and that.
I
with
want to
it.
know. I want to know this. I want to know this because we're running out of time.
Okay.
Tell us about Good Times Entertainment and how can they contact you if they want to
Absolutely.
your services.
Okay, first of all, it's called Good Times Events and Services.
Okay, yeah.
And I call it that because it's a concierge service. Concierge meaning I'm a hustler. Whatever
Got
you
it.
need, if you need a boat outside out there in the middle of the
Okay,
road, we're gonna try to
okay.
figure out how
Okay.
to do that for
Right,
you.
right.
Any kind of renovations, light handyman type work
Right.
or any little alterations. In other words, I'm a resource person.
And
You
what's
know?
the phone number?
And our telephone number is 334
Okay.
657 9780 right here in Macon County.
There you go.
And I am so proud of Macon County. Call me. I will work with your budget. The first thing I always ask is, what's your budget?
Right.
And make
you
sure you
know.
give your hubby a shout out too.
Yeah, and can I, oh, listen, real quick. Y'all need to help us clean up. I'm still the secretary
Okay.
of the Tuskegee
Okay.
Got it.
Macon County Clean City Beautification Commission.
Got it.
Okay,
Okay.
we are
We need that.
appointed by the council, and we need to. Next weekend we'll be working with the students again, so we'll
Okay.
kick that back
Yeah.
off because there's a lot of bad areas, a lot of cleanup needs to be
Right.
done, and that also has a lot to do with community development, businesses coming here,
Okay.
and
Got it.
taking pride in ourselves. So thank you
Okay.
guys for
All
being
right.
with us tonight.
So I'm gonna give a shout out right
Hey,
quick
one
to
good
my.
thing, she speaks well.
Oh, she
Yes,
does.
she does.
And she
She
got
said
a
she a
point
DJ.
across quick.
She said she a
I know
DJ.
Oh,
that's
that's
right.
right. She used to be a DJ.
Yeah.
DJ Goldie, right?
DJ Goldie.
DJ Goldie.
Yeah, but I'm gonna give a shout out to Jordan over there holding it down.
Solo.
Yeah, and then we got Courtney Brunson TV in the house.
Yeah, she-
CBTV.
And so that's it for me.
Hey, y'all,
Talk about
y'all
it.
know what? And we got Motor City Kitty here now. She heard Miss Good say gumbo, and she dropped what she
see,
was doing.
She dropped
and she
everything.
came to the studio. She dropped and she came to the studio. So, hey, Motor City, we miss you.
Right. Oh, resolution.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Well, we said we were going to talk about resolutions, and one thing is most people try to make a New Year resolution.
Right.
You want to have a life changing event,
Right.
and most of the time the most favorite is losing weight.
Yeah.
Losing weight.
You know what I'm saying? But I think my New Year resolution would be health wise to myself, my family, and the community.
Right.
Without good health, you can't do anything.
Right.
When you got a bunch of money and things go wrong, you wish you had that good health.
That's
There
right.
you go.
The
right.
good health is the most important.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So bring yourself closer to the Lord, and having good health will be my New Year resolution for myself and my family, and hopefully for the community.
Right.
Got it. Well, I only have two, and one is health, to get healthy, and the second one I think is very vital. I've been waiting for a long time, but it's to cut out negativity and just negative people out of my life.
Right.
I think that's going to make
Yeah.
that's very important to me
very
this year.
important,
Yeah, yeah.
You want to hear DJ Booty resolution? He going in this direction. Mine will be to again, I like that. To cut out the negativity for community togetherness, trust
Right.
within the community. I'm going to do everything I can to help us to get to that point in the community. Health wise, I'm pretty good. I don't take nothing but a water pill, so I'm good to go. And I leave every once in a while, but maybe I need to walk a little bit and that kind of stuff. But that's my resolution.
Gotcha.
Okay, mine is health is wealth. I
Right.
feel like that. Health is wealth.
Yeah.
The second one would be zero tolerance with negativity.
There you go.
Stay off around people with negativity.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
contagious.
that's
I get
right.
itching. I get
It's
distracted
toxic,
when I
yeah.
I deal with people that dealing with all that negativity.
Yeah.
Because they bring it around you. You around 19 people that dealing with nothing but negativity. What gonna happen to you?
Yeah.
You're gonna become just a statistic, just like
It's toxic.
It's
That's it.
toxic.
It's toxic.
very
That's it.
toxic. It could be 2 or 3. Just imagine 19.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking? It's very
Yeah.
toxic. And I want to. My other one is I want to get more back into the community, with the family. I want to do more radio, and I want to get more involved. We already involved, but I want to get more involved.
And I know we're running out of time.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, I know there's a topic we need to talk more about next week. So
Okay.
next week, let's bring this more in so we can go
Yeah.
more into detail of
Exactly.
what we are talking about.
Exactly.
Right.
You
Gotcha.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off,
Oh,
but
no
I want
problem.
to say that because I know our time's short. So
Right.
go
Right.
ahead.
We got to get ready to get
And
up.
make
out
sure
of
you shout out your wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right now.
I want to
Watch
give a
out
big
now.
shout out to my wife and kids. I love y'all. Happy New Year again.
Yeah.
Also, I want to give a big shout out to the guys right here at this station right here, 100.7 WUBZ. Sylvester McPherson and Andre Field. Sylvester come on at 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock every morning, you guys. You do not want to miss the old ship. It's nothing like the old ship. It's very addictive. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you, it's very addictive. When you get aboard the old ship, you got to listen to him every day.
Yeah.
Along
That's
with
good.
Andre, every second and fourth Sunday, Andre comes on at 9 o'clock, and he stays until he's very addictive. So therefore, you want to have some fun in the morning, get up in the morning, you want to have some fun. Tune in to Sylvester McPherson and Andre Fields on this station, 100.7 WBZ, the best station
In the nation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, I'm sorry.
No, I'm through.
And you threw
y'all
hey,
get a shout
I'll
out.
say real quick, I meant to say this when we started talking about Chief Frazier. He's one dedicated
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
With his show and
yeah.
doing the things with the sheriff department, he is one of my deputies, and it's good to have him aboard because he's a really great guy. He goes around and shows the positive things that people do in the community,
Right.
not only with his show,
Right.
but with me,
Right.
with the sheriff department.
Absolutely.
That's
He's
what I was talking
always
about.
there when
Always
you
there.
need him. He's always there when you call him, and just a positive person in the community. You know, and I just wanted to say that, he's very, very dedicated to this community, what he does, man.
Right.
And I appreciate that.
Right.
And very valuable to my department.
Right.
So just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Hey,
yeah.
Felicia Moss, she joined the show here. Hey, Felicia, how you doing? But
All right, that's been
Yeah,
our
that's
time,
it.
people.
Been
I
our
love
time.
y'all, man. Happy
Yo.
New Year to everybody. 2019 is the first Sheriff Report.
the first sheriff report.
Big shouts out.
There you go.
Miss Good.
No,
Yes,
DJ Goldie.
DJ Goldie.
DJ Goldie.
DJ
For
Goldie.
bringing in the food. We finna taste it.
Hey, we're going to tell you
We
how it
gonna
tastes
taste
next
it.
Oh,
week.
We
yeah.
gonna taste it. We gonna eat it.
Yeah,
It's
we're
gonna
going
be
to tell
yummy,
you how
yummy.
it tastes next week.
All right,
Shout
now.
out to
Look,
Macon County.
Macon County.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We
Happy
love y'all.
New Year.
Peace.
Peace.